Hello, hello, and welcome to another week of Real Estate Unfiltered. I think we're on week 29 now, which is hard to believe. This year is really flying by. So today we're talking about final closings, the final closing. Now, I want to start off by saying, again, that to reiterate, you definitely want a trusted advisor. And the important thing is, I've developed relationships over the past 22 years with closing companies, with lenders. So definitely, I know some really good ones, and I can recommend, and it does make a difference who you work with. Let me put it that way. It does make a difference who you work with. So always come to me for advice, even if you're not using a real estate agent, okay? Um, so that's first of all. Second of all, when it comes to the closing, this is an interesting topic because I had spoken with a relative of mine who was in California, a real estate agent and manager, and she said there was a lot of wire fraud going on for a while. I think there was here too. Thankfully, I did not personally experience it with any of my clients. I guess what would happen is someone would find out somehow they'd hack into someone's email, a closing company's email, and then email the client and tell them to wire transfer. And now we're talking about, let's just say someone bought a house for $200,000 cash. They're wire transferring $200,000 cash to an account that is not legitimate. So you have to be really, really, really careful. So one thing is, like I said, that's why it's really important who you work with. As I said, I haven't had any clients have this problem that I'm aware of, and I think I would know. They would tell me if they lost that kind of money. And the other thing is confirm, always confirm. So double check the account number you have. You might want to talk to someone. That's why now in our paperwork we say, call our office, talk to someone. We just want to make sure, there's something still about talking to someone in a voice. So when it comes to transferring large sums of money, please just don't go based on text and emails. Please make sure you have a conversation and best of all, face to face. So even if it's not the closing officers face to face, if I know them, then and you had face to face with me, then that's good enough as far as I'm concerned. Um, and all the other details, we have to get into another time, but I think that the key of what we're trying to say here is just be careful as it pertains to wire transfer because you're dealing with a large sum of money, but there are many safety outlets. And like I said, I have not had an issue in my 22 years of doing this, but it's still something you need to be concerned about that has been a problem to others in the past. Do you have any questions for me, Mia?
Yes, Jordana. Quick one. Have you seen any red flags in emails or closing instructions that buyers tend to overlook because everything looks so official?
That's a really good question. I mean, honestly, I don't know because I have not heard of any or experienced. I know they exist because there have been a lot of scams. Like I said, thankfully with my clients, I haven't seen any. I would say if it's an email and it doesn't sound like me or it's a closing company and you're not sure, please call me. And, again, talking, you know who I am, you've met me in person. And so if you recognize my voice, which over the phone, which you've talked to many times at that point, I will be able to tell you if it's legitimate or not. I'll be able to call the closing company and make sure it's legitimate or not. But, there's so many scams out there. It's hard to say exactly, always to detect which scam is it which, but just be careful. Any other questions?
Thanks, Jordana. As of this time, we don't have any questions. We're just hopeful that this doesn't happen to us.
You know what? You're so right, Mia. We're very, very fortunate. We're very fortunate with people who we work with. We've been very fortunate. Um, like I said, not all the time on the buyer side. If we're on the seller side, we don't get to choose, and we're not on the buyer side, we don't get to choose the closing company. So if something seems fishy to you, please reach out. And I think most people, most of my clients know to do that. They do reach out and say, "Is this legitimate?" And I would prefer that. Even if people say, "I don't want to bother you," it's okay, bother me. I'd rather call, text, or email. If I can't respond, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. You don't ever have to worry about bothering me. I'd rather you triple check with me than send either hand money or any kind of funds or to get funds if you think you're getting funds for closing and it done wrong. So, All right. Well, that's it. And you guys have a great day. And fall is coming, and the air is nice and crisp. And I'm sad to see summer end because I really do love summer vacation, but with my kids. But I'm ready for pumpkin spice. Have a great day.